Greetings. Well, here I am. It is June 21st, and it is time for 5 minutes with the Flawed Guru. On the cusp, the irregular on the cusp, 5 minutes with the Flawed Guru. So today is June 21st. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I thank God that I have two wonderful daughters, Hanlin and Dina, and I hope that they are well today. They're not here. They live in Maryland and I'm out here in California. They're fully grown, well, not fully grown, but they are well-grown young ladies, beautiful young ladies, and I wish them well. And also this weekend here in Bernie, California, the tribes from South Dakota, Idaho, Washington, Oregon, California, throughout the West are gathering here, where the Pit River tribe is hosting the 8th annual Pit River powwow. And so I've been going over there and I have my medicine bag on. And it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful event because all different kinds of people coming together, celebrating the, traditions and the sacred music of the Native Americans. And I'm very, grateful to be able to, have the opportunity to see, the beautiful dress and the wonderful dancing and the music. And also today, June 21st, is the first day of summer. And it is the beginning of the long days time. And the totem is the woodpecker. Woodpecker, you wouldn't think it, but in many ways, there are certain similarities to the crab of Cancer. Woodpeckers have strong little talons, just like the crab has its claws. And but one of the things that's interesting about the woodpecker, and that's relevant to the fact that the powwow is going on right now with all of the drumming. There's a great drum group from Loway, Idaho called Lightning Creek that's down here. And they're so wonderful, they said. I want to thank the people of California and the Pit River tribe for their hospitality, and they had a little bit of time to get around and see some of the country. They're from beautiful country up the Local River in Idaho. But they were saying how beautiful it is here. They went and visited Bernie Falls. And also there was a young group of drummers named Sturgeon Bait that was made up of young people from Idaho, Washington, and other areas. And, it was just wonderful to see young people, so enthusiastic, and so talented and cheerful. So why do I mention this in relationship to the woodpecker? The reason is because woodpecker is also a creature of rhythm. And sometimes woodpeckers are pecking into the wood to get in there, get an insect. Sometimes they're pecking in because they're, making their place to live. Sometimes they're pecking in there just because they like the rhythm. They themselves are enjoying the rhythm, and they're experiencing the rhythm. They're experiencing the rhythm of nature and the rhythm of all of the vibrations of the environment, and they drum to it on the tree, just like what is going on right now in Bernie. So the woodpecker is the totem animal, and of course in astrology it's the Cancer and it's the crab. But in both cases, this is the time. This is the time when the sun has reached its zenith. It's reaching its zenith today and tomorrow. This is the solstice. And from now on, then the days are going to grow shorter. This is the end of the reign of the Oak King and the beginning of the rise, or the height of the reign of the Oak King and the beginning of the rise of the Holly King. This is the peak of the yang of the year. and the beginning of the yin cycle. Just as December 22nd on the opposite pole is when we have the celebration of hope, because the yang, birth of the sun, birth of Jesus, the yang begins to rise, the days begin to get longer. Today is the birth of the yin, and the days begin to get shorter. But you wouldn't really know it, because the hot season is just really beginning. The sun, the yang energy is at its maximum. So what do you need? You need water. So the long days time, the period of Cancer, is a water sign, and it is ruled by the moon. So this is a really interesting time. It's the long days time, but it is a nurturing time, because we just are coming out of the blossoming time. We went through the growing time, we went through the blossoming time. Now we're entering the long days time, which is a nurturing time, because with the intense radiation of the sun, then you also need the water, and the water is the nurturing force. It's like the sun is pouring its energy into the earth, so that the fruits that are coming out of the flowers now can begin to grow, and it's time to nurture that fruit. And in order to nurture that fruit, you need water. So as human beings during this period of time, this is a good time to nurture our children and take them to water, to go swimming, to teach them to fish. It's a good time to go in that water, to cool down, because it's hot out. It's a time to water the lawn. The water and the sun combining to nurturing the fruit. So in the same way, it's like we have the energy of love, and the water is, water symbolizes the emotions and the energy coming from the heart. So we want to nurture the fruits that we've been developing and cultivating, so that they can continue to grow, and so they can become, like the energy of the sun, does all the magical things in plants, creating carbohydrates. But we want those fruits to be nice and juicy, So you need the water in the earth, to come up, and to, the sun and the minerals from the earth, and all the magical, I can't remember the names of, all these little, biochemical substances that give the fruits their color and their sweetness, and, color and sweetness and juiciness, Don't we love the fruit? So let us produce good fruits, during this time. And I'm going on too long, so I'm just going to say, I'm just going to recount, I used to go up to a place called Stewart Mineral Springs up on Park Creek, and they have a nice wood sauna that gets up to 195 degrees, and you sit in there and you sweat and sweat and sweat, and then go out and dive into the refreshing creek that's fed by the melting snow, and then just whoa, and you're in there, and the water's cold, and the trout like to come, if you just stand there for a while in this water, that might be 58, 60 degrees. Now it'll be warming up a little bit more, but it's kind of chilly, and your body is giving off that warmth, and the little trout, that are in the stream will come and gather around, around your body. And sometimes if you stick your toes up, the trout will come down and nibble, or, come and kiss your toes. Anyway, it's really a refreshing thing. They got big gopher snakes that come out and lie on the hot rocks, and you're in there in the water and stuff, and all of a sudden you feel, there's a big gopher snake decided he's warmed up enough on the rocks, and he comes slithering down, and you go, wow, what was that? It just went, down there turn my legs. Oh, that's a big old gopher snake. They won't bother you, you know. You're out there sunning on the rocks, and they're out there sunning on the rocks, and you're out there going in the water. They're going in the water. They're doing the same thing that you are. You go in the hot sauna and dive in the water. They lie on the hot rocks and then dive in the water. So then I would get out afterwards, you know, in a very, very blissful state, and go up a little ways, and then sit down by the stream and kind of commune with nature, empty my mind. And sometimes I would watch the stream, the patterns in the water, and I would listen to the sound, and then I would close my eyes, and then out of the sound of the creek, you know, and with you know, in my inner eye, you know, then, you know, I would still see the creek, but then things would take place. Like one time I was sitting there listening to the water, and looking at the creek, and then in the creek I saw a big rock, and then the sound of the water became the voice, and it said, "Keep your feet on solid ground." And I went, oh, keep my feet on solid ground. And then the rock transformed into a breast. And then the voice said, "We are here to nurture you." And I went, oh, okay, keep my feet on solid ground. And, you know, the earth and the forces are here to nurture. And then the breast turned into an eye. And then it said, "We are keeping our eye on you." So, keep your feet on solid ground. This is a time of nurturing. This is the time to nurture the fruit. And the sun in the sky, of course, is the eye of Horus. And so it is always watching. And as Jesus said, you know, God makes the sun to shine on the good and evil alike. Therefore be ye perfect as your Father in his heaven is perfect. You know, this combination of air, earth, you know, fire and water, you know, produces the fruits. And it's benevolent. It's benevolent. God makes the sun to shine on the good and the evil alike. God is a loving, benevolent being. And so, if you trust in God, if you know that the Divine Mother, the earth, and the Divine Father, the sky, and behind it all, God, who is both feminine and masculine, and neither feminine nor masculine, but the transcendent one, the source of all, you know, the source of love, light, energy, that nurtures the entire universe and the entire creation. During this period of time, when things are intense, when the heat is intense and the cold is intense, but together they are combining. During this time, trust in the nurturing of the divine source. Because if you trust in the nurturing of the divine source, then you don't have to be so plagued. I'm often plagued. Oh, I got so much to do. Oh, I this. Oh, I this. No. It is not I. I have to remind myself. I really have to remind myself. It is not I that is doing this. Trust God. Trust God and feel the nurturing love of the Heavenly Father and the Heavenly Mother. If you do so, then that is the way in which then you have the energy and the wisdom to nurture the activities that you're doing, the relationships that you have, the children that you have, the projects that you have. It's not you doing it. You are the channel, you know. So if you trust, if you establish that communion with the divine and let the divine energy work through you, then you can nurture, and then you will bring forth good fruit. So happy Father's Day. Happy beginning of summer, and may your life be a blessed growth process. And I hope that you really enjoy this long day's time. Thank you. Bye.